Come on, Kerry!
Let's go, Alfie!
You got it!
They played with their hearts, and they played with their bodies. They went from a year of uncertainty to a season of triumph. New management and new coaching brought stability and confidence. A blend of skilled veterans, talented rookies, and unselfish role players put them atop the Patrick Division for 107 days. When injuries struck them down, they fought back with the character of a champion. They were the 1989-90 New York Rangers, and they took their franchise where no Ranger team had been for half a century, the Patrick Division Championship. They look ahead with confidence, prepared to advance to the next plateau. The Rangers are on the brink of greatness. They are a team poised for glory. Poised for Glory is sponsored by Federal Express, the world's largest air express and air cargo carrier. Federal Express, the best way to ship it over there.
Stanley Cup playoffs. Get it here, program.
The Rangers Playoff Express rolled through the arch-rival Islanders in round one of the Stanley Cup playoffs and faced the Washington Capitals in the Patrick Division Finals. In Game 1, despite the absence of three starting defensemen, the Rangers' revitalized offense carried the load.
Walking in, shooting, score! A deflection by Bernie Nichols! And the Rangers lead! Mullen looking, O'Brien cuts in. Mullen shooting, blocked by Stevens. Mullen scores! Erickson gets on the shot, he scores! Good work by Mullen in the corner. Tucker couldn't clear. Bloomberg, long shot, save, rebound, score! Joe Krotnick! Here's a breakaway for Bernie Nichols. Going in. He picks it up. He heads for the net. He scores!
The Rangers' offense was red hot, and their big gun from the West notched his first hat trick of the playoffs.
Stop it toward the net. Deflection, save, rebound, score! It's a hat trick for Bernie Nichols with a power play goal.
It was a picture-perfect beginning, but the photograph faded when the Rangers' depleted defense finally caught up with them. But like a wounded animal, the Rangers would not die. They fought the cap for every single inch of ice. Along with their physical demise came a stretch of eerie misfortune. Down 3-1. The real grit of this young team showed itself in Game 5. Having painstakingly recovered from a serious knee injury, Norman Rochefort kept the Rangers' hopes alive when he tied the game late in the third period to force the second overtime of the series. But the Caps eventually prevailed.
Courtnall is on the ice now. Toward the net. Score!
It was a disappointing loss, but this was not a team that was bitter and beaten. The Rangers were already looking ahead. They had seen the puzzle begin to take shape, and while Neil Smith added some key pieces to the puzzle, the design really began in July of 1989. After an extensive search by Executive Vice President Jack Diller, the Rangers announced their new general manager.
And to some of you perhaps is a new man, but to all of us is new as the general manager of the New York Rangers, Neil Smith.
Thanks very much, Jack, and boy, today's probably the biggest thrill of my life.
To Ranger fans, he was virtually unknown, but to hockey insiders, he was a shrewd judge of talent, a man with the managerial skills and the vision to turn this franchise around.
When people think of the New York Rangers, they're going to think of a good team every year. They're going to say, geez, they're always there. They're always up there. They're always trouble. They're always winning.
His first major step was the selection of Roger Neilson as head coach. Neilson was legendary as a hockey guru, a man who could teach as well as coach. But Smith's most immediate challenge was of a more practical nature.
Here I was, a young GM with very little experience per se in the National Hockey League in a position of authority. And Roger came in with an abundance of experience in logistical things that I just didn't have, and I knew I didn't have that experience coming in, setting up training camp, day-to-day operation of the club, the problems you're going to encounter during the season.
Recognizing and obtaining talented players was Neil Smith's strongest asset. Roger Neilson knew how to develop those players. It was a perfect combination.
He gives us the right formula to go out and play. We just have to supply the hard work. And as long as you know what you have to do out there, you're in great shape. We're happy to work hard for him.
I think every player felt strongly that we could win playing his system. But more so, he brought a strong attitude. I think a winning attitude of as soon as we get something in place, like we have to do it in order to win. And that was cut and dry. There was no question marks about it. And when we did it, we won.
There was a new lineup for this season. Gone were the aging Guy Lafleur and Marcel Dion. In their place were the shining new stars of the future. Neil Smith and Roger Neilson were making changes that would pay handsome dividends. Randy Moeller was acquired from the Nordiques for Michel Petit to give the Rangers more stability on defense. They looked to rookies Troy Millette, Mark Janssens, Darren Turcotte, and Mike Richter to mature quickly. It was a vote of confidence that would be amply rewarded. After 2 wins on the road, their home debut at Madison Square Garden was against the defending Stanley Cup champion Calgary Flames. Jan Eriksson again shadowed the league's top scorers.
Center it, center it!
James Patrick tied it at 1 early in the first, and Ranger fans wanted more.
Shoot the puck, baby! Shoot the puck!
And shoot the puck they did. In a ritual that would be often repeated, the Kissio Mullin-Ogrodnik line weaved the puck through the Flames' defense. Johnny O's rebound stuff gave the Rangers a lead they would not surrender. The Rangers leaped to the top of the Patrick Division with their victory over Calgary. They solidified their first-place standing with a dazzling performance the rest of the month.
Patrick to Wilson. Dolan side of the net. Try to bank it in, and they score! Leach coming forward, banking the shot on Chychrun. Moves in, slides it across, they score! John Ogrodnik capitalizing on a brilliant move. by Brian Leach. Granado back pass to Horsheva. Nice move. Turcotte scores! Darren Turcotte. It's a power play goal. And the Rangers lead 1-0. And Darren Turcotte has now scored goals in 7.
The Rangers were red hot in October, finishing the month at 8-2-3. It was a great beginning. But Ranger fans had seen many fast starts fizzle when autumn leaves tumble. However, this Ranger team was already showing the character of a winner. Having paid his dues, Neil Smith was getting his chance to shine.
Now Wilson in the slot. Backhander. Terry Wilson. Fitzgerald moves it, but it's taken by Moeller. Centers for Erickson. They score! Sandstrom. Horsheva moves in against Pilon. Horsheva around Pilon. Horsheva scores! His first NHL goal!
New York's First Lady, the Statue of Liberty, stands as a symbol of opportunity. But the concrete and glass of Manhattan can be a chilling place for a young general manager. New York is the sports capital of the world, the ultimate challenge. It's a pressure cooker of media intensity that leaves little room for error.
How are you ever going to make the New York Rangers go when all these other people have never been able to make it go? Like, oh boy, you're going to really get eaten up and spit out by New York. I mean, it's going to be pretty tough on you. And I said, yeah, it's going to be really tough, and maybe that'll happen, but you know, I love the challenge, and I'm not going to let it happen. I'm a fighter. I'll make it go.
Making it go is tough for a GM. He can set up the best organization and make the smartest trades. But when the puck drops, all he can do is watch. For Neil Smith, it was just like his playing days.
The same thing that I said when I laced up my skates as a player was, geez, I just want to win this game so bad. What can I do to make us win tonight?
Part of the answer was youth. And before the season had even started, Neil Smith and Roger Neilson had already taken a giant step in that direction. Troy Millette was a hard-hitting winger who made the squad after an impressive performance in training camp. Millette, only 20, played in the NHL with an intensity far beyond his years. Veteran opponents quickly discovered that he would not be intimidated by either their experience or muscle. Center Mark Janssens was the Rangers' top face-off man and a tough young defensive forward. He was third on the team in penalty minutes, with good reason. When push came to shove, 6'3" Mark Janssens was usually left standing. Janssens was smart, tough, and durable. He and John Ogrodnik were the only Rangers to see action in all 80 games. Darren Turcotte's explosive scoring gave the Rangers' offense a tremendous boost. He would lead all NHL rookies with 32 goals and would be 5th in points, 6th in assists, and tied for 2nd in power play goals. Millette, Turcotte, and Janssens were all products of the Rangers draft. But it was the confidence of Neil Smith and Roger Neilson that allowed them to sparkle.
They've really been godsends to us. They've contributed more than what we could ever expect of them at their young age.
The Big Apple is a tough place for a rookie to hone his skills. Ranger fans are demanding, but when a young player shows promise, the fans are quick to reward his hustle.
Come on, Troy! Come on, Troy! Get it! Oh, yeah!
The bright lights at the Garden and the glitz and glitter of Manhattan have distracted many a rookie. But Darren Turcotte and Mark Janssens were hardly the types you'd see on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. It's not Eggs Benedict, and no one would mistake Mark Janssens for the frugal gourmet.
Right from scratch. I learned it from Mom. No, I've made an omelet or two, but breakfast is where it ends. I'm terrible.
When you're a young man from a small town in Canada who's realized a lifelong dream to play in the NHL, everything looks larger than life.
Gourmet breakfast.
Hey, tastes great.
Yeah. All right.
Never complain when the other guy's cooking. a restaurant down the street.
Most skills improve with experience, but not the culinary expertise of Turcotte and Jensen's.
At the start of the year, we were all gung-ho about cooking, but as the year went on, it seemed to deteriorate. You'd think we'd get better and better as the season went on, but it seemed we got worse and worse, and the cans of soup started to come out at the end of the season.
The media loves to glamorize the lives of professional athletes with mega-buck contracts, wild parties and exciting lifestyles, but reality is a different story. They have bills to pay, errands to run, clothes to clean, and there's still a few people in New York who don't know the Rangers' rookie sensations.
Okay, your name, sir?
Darren Turcotte.
How you spelling?
T-U-R-C-O-T-T-E.
The screaming crowds and brilliant play on the ice are what the public sees. But behind the scenes, it takes long hours, endless drills, and constant repetition to produce a winning team. A team style of play is always a reflection of their head coach. With Roger Neilson, that means intense preparation, attention to detail, and always a rugged defense. Neilson stunned the hockey world in 1982 when he took a struggling Vancouver team and molded them into a Cinderella contender for the Stanley Cup.
2-on-1 now. 2-on-1. 2-on-1. Come on now, D, do a job here. Do a job.
Neilson's approach is simple but demanding. Learn all you can about an opponent. The rookies, as well as the veterans, are impressed by the maestro leading this orchestra of gifted athletes.
Come on, D, don't give him a sniff now. Get that gap tight. They get too far away from the guy with a puck. You got to be a little closer to the guy with the puck. If you give him too much, he's just going to walk in and blast away,
Every drill in practice, you try to relate it to either a game gone by or a game coming up.
The trap worked well. They kind of kept falling into it. On those occasions when it isn't a trap, though, that's when we got to make sure that we're not just in the area. And it's tough. Like, you're going from one completely different system to the other. On one, we're in an area. It's a zone.
Preparation is his key to winning. With Neilson, it always comes back to preparation. His long hours with the VCR gave the Rangers more than just a thorough analysis of an opponent. It gave them confidence. They knew just what to expect.
I've never seen anybody more prepared. You come in the morning, as a child in school, you have teachers that are more prepared than others. The ones that have the lesson plans out on the board. Roger's like that. He's like a teacher.
I've never gone into a game not prepared because he has the meetings. And you know exactly what to expect from the other team because Roger has them so well documented.
With Roger Neilson at the helm, it was crunch time in the Big Apple.
Ow! That's it, get up!
The Rangers flexed their muscles on defense, and the fans loved it. For the first time in years, it was the Rangers who were doing the shoving, and it paid off. This New York team would allow the fewest goals of any Ranger team in 16 years. The Rangers' defensive strength provided the opportunities for an explosive offensive attack, with Darren Turcotte leading the charge.
Ronaldo moves out and feeds Turcotte. He bobbles it ahead and breaks through. He's pulled down, but he scores!
November saw the Rangers still leading the Patrick Division. Darren Turcotte had Ranger fans excited with his electrifying breakaway scores.
Here's a break for Turcotte. Moving it all alone on Fitzpatrick. Turcotte. Save. Scores. He got a piece of it, but Turcotte scores the short-handed goal.
But injuries started to chip away at the roster. Kerry Wilson was out. David Shaw was soon to follow. Then, Chris Nyland was lost. His tough play and spirited leadership would be sorely missed in days to come. The Rangers' torrid pace began to cool as winter's chill approached. New York squared off against the Devils in early December in a typical Patrick Division rumble.
Come on, right!
Turn it around, come on, out front!
James Patrick scored before the game was a minute old. It was a great boost for Bob Froese, who withstood a 34-shot barrage that night.
Keep it in! Shoot it!
Patrick stung New Jersey again after the Devils had fought back to tie. Tony Granato was in the right place at the right time with a stuff shot to put the game out of reach in the third. The Rangers had good reason to celebrate. They were 15-10-4. John Ogrodnik was off to his best start in years, and the young players were making a smooth transition to life in the NHL. But the team had no way of knowing that dark clouds were on the horizon. The winning combination that had some fans already thinking playoffs was about to unravel. Games started slipping away in December. There would be no more wins for the rest of the year. Injuries were now punching huge holes in the Rangers lineup. David Shaw went out after returning for only 3 games. He would miss the rest of the season. Then Mark Hardy. Then it was Randy Moeller, followed by Tony Granato. Nyland was still missing and would not return till the end of January. On December 16th, New York dropped out of first place. By year's end, the team had tumbled to 4th. Pain and frustration were constant companions. As one player put it, the only good thing about December was Christmas. The Rangers were mired in a baffling slump. Like drought and famine, there was no way of knowing when it would end. With nearly half the team made up of first and second year players, it was inevitable that some would overcompensate. Even Brian Leach, last year's Rookie of the Year, was simply trying too hard. The long drive from Rye to his Manhattan apartment gave him plenty of time to think about the whims of fate and his own frustrations. Life had been good in his first NHL season, but now he too was struggling.
Last year, every time I shot the puck, I went in the net, or I passed it to someone, they went in and scored, and I just was thinking to myself, it's not always going to be that easy. This year was the first time that I did kind of bring the game home with me, because we weren't doing well, and I didn't feel like I was playing as well as I could, and I was taking a little heat in the papers for that, and I felt deservedly so, but I was still trying my hardest. I was working hard all the time. I was trying to, maybe trying to do too much. Still trying to work hard, but play a little smarter. Move the puck less and go up in the play less, and just do my job back there.
Just when the Rangers seemed to be on the verge of collapse, a masked man came to the rescue. U.S. Olympic rookie Mike Richter became the Lone Ranger in goal for most of January.
Michael came in there for a 7-game stretch and just turned our whole season around.
From behind the net comes Brickley. Centers! Saved by Richter as he stopped Ray Bourque on the trailer. Neely open on the right side with a shot. Saved by Richter. Linsman with a steal. Centers! Shot by Burridge. Saved by Richter, and he holds it. And picked up by Carpenter. Off the glove of Richter and up in...
Mike Richter held off the league-leading Bruins just long enough. Thomas Sandstrom's goal with 34 seconds to play gave the Rangers a dramatic 3-2 win in their first meeting with the Bruins. The next night, shooting for their 1,000th victory on home ice, they trailed the Flyers by 2 goals in the third period.
Mullen gets to it. Mullen is in. Score! Sandstrom against Benvitz. Drops it back to Wilson. He moves it and shoots. He scores!
The Rangers were headed for overtime and a dramatic conclusion to a shocking comeback.
31st face-off in the Flyers zone in this game. They've only had 12 in the Rangers. On the shot from the point, Brian Leetch wins it for the Rangers.
Neil Smith had brought stability to the Rangers franchise. Players were no longer looking over their shoulders for their travel papers. One reporter called him No Deal Neil. But now, Smith was looking for a missing piece. A trade was brewing that would rock the Big Apple.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a big day for the New York Rangers, and we're pleased to announce a trade that has sent Thomas Sandstrom and Tony Granato to the Los Angeles Kings for all-star centerman Bernie Nichols.
It was a brief announcement, but a stunning move. Neil Smith went from No Deal Neil to Big Deal Neil with the acquisition of Bernie Nichols. Suddenly, the Rangers had star power and firepower.
Alex Leetch playing it toward the net, knocked down by Johnson. Shot, score! Bernie Nichols! It's a power play goal! Dahlin has the puck in the corner. Good help from Millette. Here's Nichols, he scores!
Proof of this team's resurgence would be some tough road wins. A victory in this den of horrors, the Spectrum in Philadelphia, would be a sure sign. Tough guy Chris King, acquired just prior to the season, bounced a few Flyers. When these two arch rivals collide, emotions run high. Mike Richter would face one of his toughest tests of the season. Tied at 2-2 in the second, Kelly Kissio scorched the Flyers on a breakaway. This was Mike Richter's first appearance in his hometown. The Flyers were determined to spoil his homecoming. Rugged veteran Lindy Ruff gave the rookie goaltender a clear view. When the Flyers tied it again in the third, Johnny O scored yet another game winner. Mike Richter ensured the win with some brilliant saves. Philadelphia attacked from all sides, but there were no chinks in the armor of number 35. The teams would meet again in Philadelphia, but the results would be the same. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, the Rangers in one season would win every game on Spectrum ice. This New York team was back on track. Spirits soared even higher as the Rangers welcomed back their tough-talking sheriff. There's never a dull moment with Knuckles Nilan around.
On the road for a week together, and I miss you already.
I know, I miss you too.
You get home and you sleep with your wife there, and it's just not the same. In the morning when I kiss you, your morning breath is great.
Thank you. Yours is good too.
That's because you use Listerine before you go to bed.
In 12 months, John Ogrodnik had gone from the club doghouse to Roger Nielsen's penthouse. Nielsen's confidence produced an explosive performance.
Collins tied up in the corner, comes in front, Ogrodnik scores! Kissio with the puck, looking for man in front. Turcotte set up in front, Ogrodnik scores! John Ogrodnik set up in front for Ogrodnik, he scores! Kissio moving in, sets up Ogrodnik, he scores! John Ogrodnik, it's a power scores it.
Reuniting Ogrodnik with Kelly Kissio and Brian Mullen was a brilliant move by Roger Nielsen. By season's end, Johnny O would tally 43 goals and 31 assists. Number 25 loves to find the cracks in an opponent's defense, while Kissio and Mullen work the puck from the perimeter.
My game is getting in the holes. I mean, and that's a benefit playing with Brian and Kelly, because I think we understand how the three of us play out there, and if you can anticipate what's going to happen out there and where the puck's going to be, it makes it that much easier.
Brian Mullen was right behind Ogrodnik with 68 points on 27 goals and 41 assists.
Go to Kelly, go to Kelly. Let's go, Kelly! Right there!
If ever there was a never-say-die Ranger, it's Captain Kelly Kissio. He's always hustling, inspiring his teammates and the fans with his constant effort and ceaseless determination. He too would have a splendid season with 22 goals and 44 assists.
Ogrodnik back for Mullen. The shot blocked. Kissio shot. Score! Here comes Patrick. He beats Turcotte. He scores!
On February 26th, the Rangers faced off against the Bruins for their final meeting of the season with Boston. New York again would beat the boys from Beantown.
Dahlin has the puck in the corner. Good help from Millette. Here's Nichols. He scores! Ogrodnik, open man. Turcotte with a shot. He scores!
The Rangers swept the season series 3-0 for the first time in their history, sparked by a hat trick from rookie Darren Turcotte.
Here comes Turcotte on a breakaway. Darren Turcotte scores!
Turcotte was making a strong bid for Rookie of the Year honors. His silky moves and lightning speed thrilled the fans and intimidated opposing goalies.
He knows where to pick his shots. He doesn't get too excited. He doesn't panic in front of in the crease. Takes his time, and he knows what he wants to do with the puck.
And you don't realize it as a goalie, how fast he gets on top of you. And when the guy can get that acceleration going fast, he can get off a good quick shot, and he has a good quick shot, he can beat you.
Turcotte on the move, winds up with a big shot. Score! From center ice, Darren Turcotte. Wilson lead for Turcotte. Turcotte moves in. Turcotte with a chance. He scores!
The Rangers were back on top of the Patrick Division, and Van Beesbrook and Richter remained a smothering 1-2 punch.
Leach looking, sets up Mullen. Score! John Ogrodnik tips it in. It's a power play goal.
The Rangers would lead the league in power play goals, and Neil Smith had one more ace up his sleeve. On March 6th, Big Deal Neil got even bigger, dealing Ulf Dahlin to the North Stars from Mike Gartner, a 5-time All-Star who had scored 30 or more goals in each of his 11 NHL seasons. Roger Nielsen knew just what to do with him. He paired him with Bernie Nichols and Troy Millette for a truly dangerous offensive line. 2 snipers and a bruiser.
Knocked down by Turcotte, center save by Reese, and put it again, Mike Gartner. A power play goal. Here's Gartner shooting, scores. Mullen has the puck, he's got room, he shoots, he scores. Through the legs of Alan Bester, it's 2-0 Rangers.
While rolling towards the Patrick Division title on March 14th, the hopes and dreams of this rejuvenated Ranger squad were dealt a shattering blow.
McIntyre plays it in off the corner boards. Leach picks it up. Nice move away from Francis Getty, but he fell down. I don't know if he's hurt on the play.
It looks like he may have hurt his left leg.
Yes. Oh, boy.
This is serious.
Oh, man.
The situation was more than serious. Brian Leach was gone, lost for the season with a fractured ankle. The springtime demon that has tortured the Rangers hung like a shroud over the team's playoff hopes. But just as they had lifted themselves out of the deep December slump, this squad would not now succumb to misfortune. James Patrick led the charge as this never-say-die team fought on towards the Patrick Division crown. Ironically, former Ranger coach Michel Bergeron and the Nordiques were blocking New York's coronation with a 2-goal lead in the third period. This Ranger team had fought its way through 70-odd games of pain and injury. On this night, they would not be denied.
Kissio wins the draw. Patrick with a shot. Score! Looking, shooting, score! Brian Mullen. It's a power play goal. Here's Gartner shooting, scores! Kissio with Okradnik. 2-on-1 develops. Feed to Okradnik. He shoots, he scores! King battling with Loiselle. Nice feed to Brodney. Scores! 7-4 Rangers. And that's it. The Rangers have won the Patrick Division.
This gritty young team ended nearly 50 years of Ranger divisional frustration. But they knew that their biggest challenge was still ahead. The quest for hockey's holy grail in the Stanley Cup playoffs. From Central Park to the Bronx, the first blush of spring brings new life to the city. It was a carnival atmosphere as New York faced New York in the opening round.
No matter who you're rooting for, the Rangers, the Islanders, this is it, man. This is hockey.
It's like Mets and the Yankees. It's just New York rivalry, and New York has like some of the greatest fans, and they just love to go at it.
There's nothing better than this. Rangers and Islanders in the playoffs, the ultimate.
To the Ranger faithful, the outcome was a foregone conclusion.
I think they're going to win, and they're going to sweep in 4.
It's good to knock them right out, you know? The years they beat us and always finished ahead of us, now we'll get our chance to knock them right out.
This is the way it should be. The Rangers in first place, the Islanders coming into our building for the playoffs, and we're going to destroy them in 4 straight.
Take them in 4, we go to the Cup, we take everybody.
We're ready.
Okay?
This is a
for
madhouse.
the New York
It's ready.
Rangers and the people of New
Finally,
York.
it's our time.
We waited a
Forget
long
about the
time.
Islanders.
This is it!
The 1989-90 Patrick Division champions, the New York Rangers!
The Rangers versus the Islanders, the Battle of New York. For Ranger fans, it was a rivalry made in hell, as 5 out of the last 6 playoff series between the two clubs went to the Islanders. Roger Nielsen surprised many Ranger fans by naming the rookie Mike Richter as his starting goaltender. As is the trademark of all Al Arbor coach teams, the checking was ferocious. Roger Nielsen's young charges matched the Islanders hit for hit. To Ranger fans, this intense rivalry was taking on epic proportions.
This is a war out here. You take no prisoners.
Early in the game, the call went out.
Bernie! Oh, Bernie, come on, Bernie! Picked in by Randy Moller. Long shot. Hit the post, rebound, score!
Bernie Nichols' first period goal gave New York the lead until what many felt would be the most dramatic moment of the series. Referee Don Kaharski awarded the Islanders' Randy Wood a penalty shot. It would be a heart-pounding early test for rookie Mike Richter. In a magnificent display of patience and anticipation, Richter stoned Wood with a brilliant leg save. Some hockey writers called it the turning point of the series. In a season where rookies played key roles, it was fitting that Mark Janssens would then step to the front in this tense first game showdown.
Rangers lead, intercept by Nyland, puts it in front, score! Mark Janssens!
Whatever Whatever hopes the Islanders had of upsetting the favored Rangers were dealt a devastating blow when NHL star Pat LaFontaine was caught with his head down and leveled on a clean check by James Patrick.
5 to go. Picked up by Maloney. Gets in. Hip check by Grester. Good check by James Patrick. Knocks down LaFontaine. He's shaking up on the play.
He got hit twice, Sam.
He's motionless on the ice.
He looked like...
He would courageously return later in the series. Mike Richter was the hero of the Rangers' tense 2-1 victory. The media swarmed the rookie for a statement on his dramatic duel with Randy Wood.
There's an opportunity for our team to get a lot of momentum in our favor, and you have a chance to stop it. He's got to do something positive to score, and so there's a lot of pressure on him as well. And I was lucky that I could come out and drift back enough with him and snuff him in the pad.
It was a magical moment in the Garden.
I'm in my home rink. We're winning 1-0 in the playoffs. Randy Wood has to take a shot on me with 17,000 maniacs screaming in Madison Square Garden. I think the pressure was more on him.
After the Rangers' lopsided 5-2 win in Game 2, the Rangers saw a 2-goal lead vanish in Game 3 as the Isles came back to win it and awakened skitterish feelings of doubt.
Randy Wood moves in. Save Van Beesbrook. Looking, shooting. Save Van Beesbrook. Rebound loose. Shot wide. Flatley getting it to Bullock. Save Van Beesbrook. Gets away. Centers through. Here's McBean. And a save by Van Beesbrook. 2 big saves as the Islanders.
John Van Beesbrook made the big saves to help win Game 4. But the Rangers' 3-1 lead was taking its toll.
Up down low with the screen. Toward the net. Score! John O'Brodnik! He scores! With a shot. Score!
Mike Gartner and the Rangers blistered the Isles for a 5-2 lead in Game 5, only to see the 4-time Cup champions come back again to close the gap to 5-4.
Randy Wood all the way. He scores!
But this was a different time and a different team.
Millette sends it out to Gartner. With Gary Nyland back, Gartner moves in. He shoots. He scores! It's a hat trick for Mike Gartner!
It was the first Ranger playoff hat trick in a decade, and it blew away 15 years of frustration. The Battle of New York was over. All the words and all the pictures could never capture the intensity of this series. Every Ranger who took a face-off or crashed the boards was battling for more than just professional pride.
The press makes it to be a big thing, but so do the players. Players feel very intense about it, and I know on our side that we took it very personally.
The Ranger fans really appreciate that, and you know they got bragging rights right now. So until I guess until the Islanders beat us, then the Ranger fans will maintain those rights.
Their loss to Washington did little to dampen the spirits of the 1989-90 New York Rangers. They were a team blessed with dedicated veterans, gifted young players, and bold management. They were supported by fans whose loyalty is legendary. They played with skill and grace. But it was their character that made the magic. Their courage and strength sustained them through this season of adversity. There is a fiery feeling of anticipation in the city. And just as the Mets and Jets had shocked the sports world, this Ranger team is on a threshold. It is the feeling that they will carve their names on the roster of champions.
Bottom line is we've got the goaltending and we've got the young players that can make a difference. Now I think it's up to us to go out and improve on this past year.
The Rangers have staked their claim to the future. It is a vision bold and bright. They are truly a team poised for glory. Poised for Glory is sponsored by Federal Express, the world's largest air express and air cargo carrier. Federal Express, the best way to ship it over there.